Hello, and welcome to the All Around Natural Beauty RN channel, where I'm passionate about helping victims of all ages and all genders overcome the fear of facing the abuse to become survivors. Because for the most part, most victims tend to suffer in silence, and we've been conditioned to just be silent about stuff. But now, this year, this era is the time for victims to unite and stand together because there's strength in numbers, and we can become survivors. Right now, I feel like the American people are the victims here, and that's why I'm so grateful that all this wickedness is being exposed. And like I said, we're over here to support victims to speak out. And so that's what I'm doing here. I'm speaking out on abuse so we can all become survivors. And I'm just grateful that, for those of you who don't know me, I'm 53 years old and a proud Gen Xer. And the good thing about being from this generation is that we were here before the internet. So we pretty much owe it to society to speak out against a lot of these wicked tricks that they're putting out there and promoting it to some of these young people that don't know any better and stuff. The good thing about us is that we were here before the internet, so we know what things were like before they started withholding stuff, and then also pushing a lot of false narrative out there to herd you in a way that they want you to think and to respond and stuff like that. So that's why I'm excited about, having an opportunity to lift my voice and to share the truth with people. Because like I've said before in prior videos, I'm on the side of truth. On the side of truth. Over here, we don't do delusional thinking. We do math and science. We're all about the facts, math and science and math. So we started our journey under the umbrella of getting justice for Shanquilla Robinson, and that was more than a year ago. And going down that road, it opened my eyes to a lot of the corruption that's been going on all over the world. I learned, and I'm sure some of y'all that learned with me too, about violence towards women and children. So, start talking about that and putting out support groups for us to all bind together. And then along the way, we discovered that it's not just women who are the victims, that there are men who are victims as well. And also there are women who are abusers. So that's why I say I'm here for victim of all ages and all genders, because if we stay under the mindset that all women are good and all women are pure and, don't have any issues with them, we are opening ourselves up to be hurt by the corruption of such people like this Miss Fani Willis. And also there's more out there in the public. But right now we're talking about Fani Willis because I do believe that all of these dots connect together to go back to why regular people aren't getting the justice, because a lot of the justice system is corrupt. And we even heard President Trump say that there's a lot of corruption in the justice system out there. So this exposure is good. And if we all unite together, there's strength in numbers. All right, now how come this thing showed up here? All right, I had this message here first from Biblical Theology, Genesis, and Hemero, what is that, Hermetics? All right, it says faulty, Fani, Fanny, failed, Fulton, falsified, forensics. Oh, got a tongue twister here. Files, fringed, fraudulent findings for freshly favors. Oh, thank you for that nice tongue twister. Appreciate that. And Nola, what's up, Nola? How you doing? Thank you for coming out here too. So all these things really do tie together and stuff like that. Like these are the reasons why we're not getting the justice for the simple victims out there, because these people that are going under these political missions don't really care about the people. They're just doing it for political gain. And they're using people and persecuting people and prosecuting people and doing all these things for their own political gain. So we're going to be analyzing Fani's father's video, so we can see how the apple truly does not fall far from the tree, because we're going to expose how it was all staged. Like they planned it together. He's taking up for his baby girl and all that good stuff. And to see how also, while I was kind of looking over this here case, to see that Fani's been on the radar of the people in Georgia for quite a while. They've been wanting to impeach her. So I did see this article that was published in August of 23. So I was like, wow, okay. So I know that after I started speaking out and talking on this channel, I started, because I used to just be in my own little world and not really worried about any of this little stuff going on, because all my kids are grown and gone. So I wasn't too concerned about some of the things, but I know that standing by silently while this kind of abuse goes on, you're somewhat responsible for it too. So we owe it to our people, the young people behind us, the future, to speak out and to make sure things go right, and to speak out against lies, and to speak up for the truth. All right. So thank y'all for coming out and listen with an open heart and open mind, so you can critically think. And I want to caution us not to be emotional and get triggered by stuff and then just respond emotionally, because that's exactly how they want you to respond, is emotionally, because you're not thinking when you're just responding. I want us to think and respond, not react, so we can really come up with a plan and see some things happen. All right. So without further ado, we're going to start off with our first video. Kind of a warming up video where I'm going to just kind of play a little short to break down what's going on here. Yeah, okay, here's a little quickie short. Oh, this ain't it. Sorry. All right, so let me just go on with the little dad's profile here. Since I can't really find what I'm trying to play. Yes, here we go. All right. Let me share. This here is a little short video here, but this is older. So this stuff has really been going on for quite a while. And when they first started off with all these different charges and stuff, indicting the president and all that, I wasn't really getting off into it, because I was like, it's got to be a joke. Like, how can this really be true, really be happening? Because nowhere in the history of this country has anything like this ever happened. And, it's so obvious that it's all corrupt, and it feels a little like I feel like this is in disbelief how obvious and blatant it is. That's why I really want us middle-aged people to speak up, because back when we was coming up, we did learn about the country and stuff. They taught history, they taught curse of Brian, a lot of the things that they're withholding from our young people, and that's how they're able to, kind of lead them down the wrong path and stuff. So we're going to start off with this little small video here to kind of introduce anybody who may not be aware of who Miss Fani Willis is. All right, so here we go.
A lot of people have noted that one of the important things about this Georgia case, of all the 4 Trump indictments, is that no federal pardon can save Trump from a case that's brought under state law, and that's true. So no President Trump, no any other Republican president can wave a magic pardon wand and make a conviction in this case go away. That's true. Also, he can't be rescued by a Republican governor in Georgia, either Republican Governor Brian Kemp or any other Republican governor that might succeed him. In lots of states, a governor can pardon somebody accused of or convicted of state crimes. But in Georgia, because a previous governor abused that, a governor no longer has that.
Okay, so she's admitting that Georgia already had some problems in the past with the abuse of the government via the governor. So this is why, like, you know, this whole corruption is all over. It's all over. That's why it's important that we, the people, wake up, because we do have a voice, but we kind of surrender it to these lead people because we just do what they say. So that's why it's super important to educate yourself so we could, you know, get some control here.
Power. So that is one of the notable things about this prosecution as compared to the other three that he's facing. A pardon is not going to save Donald Trump in Georgia. Wow. However, knowing that, once this case was well underway and pretty clearly moving toward indictment, Georgia Republicans gave themselves a new power to make this case go away for Donald Trump if they decide to. Not a pardon power, but something in some ways better. A power to remove the prosecutor from her job.
Okay, so let me look at this date here. They were trying to remove the prosecutor from the job since, what is this? Where is this date? Oh, 6 months ago. So this ain't nothing new. And this ain't nothing new. I'm not going to play this whole video. This ain't nothing new. But this goes to show that, all right, so Fani had, you know, they had already called her out 6 months ago. But because she had such a huge head as far as her authority went, she didn't think that, she thought she was untouchable. She thought she was untouchable. And this just goes to show how you, just like the scripture says, judge not, lest ye be judged, right? So you sitting up here pointing out these fingers and accusing someone of corruption when your hands are super dirty. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started on the title of this here show, which is Fani's, I keep wanting to mispronounce her name. Papa stood up for his baby girl. All right, so find that video here and bring it back to him being sworn in. All right, so let's go ahead and share this here. And the good thing about being able to look back on this stuff in retrospect is you'll see the sequence, because I went over her interview a few days ago, and like she was already preparing the scene for when her father took the stage. Oh, you're going to meet my dad, or he's going to tell, you know. So I'm just want y'all to see exactly how they had already rehearsed. You could tell it was rehearsed. All right, so here we go.
At this point, I think we've got something else that can occupy our time, and we'll be ready to move forward with that. All right. Of course. Yeah, absolutely.
And I didn't learn about the
Right. Okay. Understood. Ms. Cross.
Mr. Abate will,
Mr. John Floyd. Mr. Floyd, if you could have a seat, sir.
All right, notice how fast his gait is. That's his walk. Oh, yeah, I forgot to qualify myself. Let me do this real quick. For those of you who don't know, I have over 30 years of nursing experience, too. And so I'm looking at things from this aspect as far as like caring for people and knowing some of the cycles that people go through. But she had said in her interview, let me go ahead and put that on this. In her interview, that, you know, her father was old. She painted the picture like he was an elderly man and, you know, afraid of COVID, right? So that's why I'm letting y'all see, look at how erect and how fast his gait is. Gait is his walk. Look how fast he's walking up here. Doesn't look like a little feeble old man at all.
Mr. Abate will,
Mr. John Floyd. Mr. Floyd, if you can have a seat, sir.
Through there. He going on up there about to do the thing.
May I approach the witness quickly?
Briefcase there.
Thank you. I do.
That's the line.
My name is John Clifford Floyd III.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Can you tell the court, are you currently retired?
Yes, I am.
And prior to being retired, can you tell the court a little bit about, did you work in the legal career?
I'm
Were you a lawyer?
an attorney. I practice law.
Can y'all hear this pretty good? Put a 1 in the chat if y'all can hear the video.
I've probably tried
Hear it.
1,000 cases. About 50% of my practice was criminal law. 25% of it was family law. And the rest was whatever walked through the front door and could pay for it.
Okay. And
We wait 1 second. Governor's come back. He might
I
have.
do, my calendar shows it was October 26, 2021.
All right. And would defense counsel accept it as a stipulation, or is there any follow-up questioning needed on that? Mr. Barnes is still considered under oath on this point.
This was an ex-governor. Hopefully that wasn't the one that they said was corrupt. Anyway, a little more investigation on that. But anyway, thank you, Nola. He was the ex-governor. One day we'll go back over his
All right.
testimony.
I would look for a show of hands or for someone to speak now on Zoom, and hearing none. Thank you, sir. You're excused.
You're like, I had to get out of here.
and sir, can you tell the court, are you from Atlanta?
No, I grew up in South Central Los Angeles.
Even just from him answering the questions, it sounds like, he already knows what he wants to say. Like he has to put in the, oh no, I grew up in South Central Los Angeles. Sounds fake.
I spent most of my legal career, I would say, in Washington, D.C. was kind of the circle, but I've tried cases all over the country, and I tried the longest. I was the first lawyer to try an international criminal court. I was with the International Criminal Tribunal for Rwanda. I was in trial there for 4.5 years in Arusha, Tanzania, and Hague in the Netherlands.
Okay. When you weren't there, it sounds like your kind of center of gravity was Washington, D.C.
Correct, but I've tried cases in West Virginia, Maryland, Florida, California.
All
Yes.
over.
Yes.
And do you, sir, can you tell the court, do you have any children?
I have one daughter, Fani Willis.
Okay.
All right, so she's his only daughter. So of course his testimony is going to be biased. That's his only daughter. His only daughter.
And I want to direct your attention back to 2019, okay?
Yes.
Back in 2019, can you tell the court, did you move here to Atlanta?
I was living in Johannesburg.
Now that's how you could tell this. He's already about to lie, because he asked him one question. Did you move to Atlanta in 2019? But because she already told daddy what to say, he's got to set the stage here to tell the story. Listen to what he got to say.
Johannesburg, South Africa. And unfortunately, for some reasons, I could not get an extended visa. When I retired from the practice of law in 2018, I moved to South Africa, and I had to leave South Africa, and I did then come to Atlanta.
Okay, and do you, sir, remember about the time period in 2019 when you moved in with your daughter here in Atlanta?
It would have been the spring or summer of 2019.
And after you moved here, did you get a driver's license to kind of confirm your residency in Atlanta?
Well, my driver's license for the District of Columbia was going to expire on my birthday, which is in October. And yes, I did get a license here in the state of Georgia.
Your Honor, may I approach the witness? We will just take a look at what's been marked as State Exhibit
Okay, Your Honor, would you, if you don't mind, my eyes are very bad, which is one of the reasons I retired. And so I need a magnifying glass, so I'll be
Get the
constantly.
magnifying glass. See how he's trying to milk the whole sympathy thing? Look at me, I'm just a feeble old man. Need the magnifying glass.
Thank you. Yes, I see it was issued on 9/28/2019.
Okay, so before we get there, do you recognize State Exhibit 2?
Yes, just my driver's license.
And is State Exhibit 2 a fair and accurate copy of your physical driver's license?
Absolutely.
This time around, the state would tender what's been marked as State Exhibit 2 into evidence.
Seeing no other objections, it's submitted. State Exhibit 2 is submitted for the record.
Now, and for the record, Your Honor, the state is going to supplement State Exhibit 2 with a redacted copy of the license. The current copy is not redacted with the address and things of that
All
nature.
right, and do we need to mark that differently in any way?
I will mark it as State Exhibit 2A.
Perfect.
Now, you talked about when your driver's license was issued. Can you tell the court when was that driver's license here, your Georgia driver's license issued?
It was on 9/28/2019.
Okay, so September 28, 2019. Now, when you moved into District Attorney Willis's home, who lived there?
Well, my daughter lived there. I lived there, and from time to time, my grandchildren would come.
Okay, and did your grandchildren, were they at school coming and going?
Exactly. I think they were in school in various jurisdictions.
And during the time, how long did you live at or with Miss Willison at her home here in Fulton County?
She was forced to move after she was elected.
Okay, right there.
About
Why? He asked a simple question. How long did you live there? Now he's got to set the stage for all of this information. She was forced to move. Nobody asked that. This is how you can tell when people are telling you a story because they're telling you a story.
I mean, I don't know if you want me to go through the whole thing, but that, Your Honor, if Your Honor will indulge me. After she was sworn in on January 1 of 2021, and on or about the 3rd of February.
Okay, so if he got there September of 19 and this happened in 21, I mean, come on. Come on.
At probably 5:30 a.m. in the morning, there were people outside her house cursing and yelling and calling her the B word and the N word, and just, I mean, it was bizarre. Okay, I mean, it just.
Sorry. Pause, sir. Mr. Abadi. Here's the objection to you.
I would say it's effect on listener. He was present while all of these things were occurring, but I can.
No, that's. And he's saying he was personally present to hear these things.
Yes.
Okay, overruled.
Okay, and fortunately, the neighbors called the police and disbanded the group, and it was just, I mean, it was just, I hadn't seen anything exactly like it before.
Okay, and after that happened,
Like and
can you
subscribe.
tell the court that Miss Willis would have to move from her home?
Yes, she was forced to leave.
And can you tell the court after she was forced to leave, shortly after she was sworn in, did you remain at her home in Fulton County?
Yes, I stayed there really until 2022, I guess.
And from what you described, did you fear for her safety?
Absolutely. I mean, not only
He jumped in on that. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
did I do that, I mean, the South Fulton police, they brought somebody, a man with a dog, because there have been so many death threats. And they said they were going to blow up the house. They were going to kill her. They were going to kill me. They were going to kill my grandchildren. I mean, on and on.
So if they was going to kill you and the grandchildren, Why? Why? Why did you stay? Because in Fani's testimony, you stayed. You feared COVID more than you feared the death threats. You said they were threatening you and your grandchildren. So why was it that Fani was the only one who left? Right? This is how you can tell when people lie, because they don't think out all the way to the end the details and the truth doesn't need explanation. Just like I've always said, the truth does not need any explaining.
And on. It just, it became, and I was concerned for her safety.
And after those concerns came to your attention, and after what you heard and saw of that day, you remained at the house?
Yes.
And can you tell the court, with what you just described, why did you remain living at the district attorney's home here in Fulton County?
Please tell me why. Tell me why.
I believe it's relevant based on a lot of the questions that were asked yesterday of Ms. Willis as to about the security threat and the fact that it was implied that those threats were not necessarily real, in the sense that Mr. Floyd remained in the home. There were many questions about the fact that he remained and her children could still come and go to the house. I think it's relevant based to the testimony that was elicited from defense counsels yesterday.
Well, these South Fulton police, first they put a car in front of the house that was there permanently. A police car. That was thing one. Thing two, they brought a person with a dog, sometimes more than once a day, twice a day, and they would circle the house to look for bombs. I knew that was a house that my daughter had worked for. It was a brand new house. She's the only one who would ever live there. It's a 4-bedroom, brand new house.
Okay, so you can tell that Dad was coached into what to say because of the questions that was, just like the attorney just said, he's pretty much addressing all of the objections and the questions that was posed to Fani the day before when she was on the stand. So now he's trying to explain why he didn't leave, and it's contradiction to what Fani said as far as like he stayed because of the COVID fear. So here we go. This is how you can tell liars lie. The story always changing. The story is always ever changing, evolving to convince you that this is the truth.
House, and somebody needed to protect the house,
Wow.
and I stayed there to basically take care of the house.
Yeah. You and your feeble little old age who was afraid of COVID, you stayed to protect the house.
To take care of the yard, to take care of that. Also, somebody sprayed again the B word and the N word on the house, and I don't think my daughter even knew that. I cleaned it off and called the police, and South Fulton police. They have, I'm sure, all the records of all the things that happened, and all of the neighbors. I notified all the neighbors to look out and to watch out, and it was so crazy. I mean, it was just so crazy. We'd have people would show up and park car. There was a guy parked for probably 8 hours out in front of the.
Where were the police? You just said 2 breaths ago that the police car was parked out there. Who is brave enough to be harassing you with the police out there? Come on now.
House, it was just, and we called the police, and
Why would you have to call the police? They was parked out there, remember?
Now, at the time that you
Look at his face. He
lived there with Ms. Willis, and I guess even when you remained, so during the time period of 2019 to the end of 2020, are you aware if Ms. Willis was dating someone?
Yeah, she did. She had a boyfriend when I first got there.
And did you meet her boyfriend?
Yeah, I met him often.
Okay, and did you know him by any specific nickname?
Yeah, Deuce.
Okay, and can you tell the court while you were living there How often would you see him?
Sometimes every day, sometimes, every other day. He, what's it?
See, more story here. And then he's giving that look to, like, this how you can tell when people lying, because they always look like, you're stupid for not knowing what the answer is. Every day, sometimes every other day. Now he's about to explain. And liars always have to explain, because the truth doesn't need any explanation. Just like when we saw Miss Yordy's testimony, hers was just simple: yes, no, we didn't live together. She just made the corrections when they got the question wrong. But all this explanation stuff, this is what liars do.
This jockey or something, and he had all this paraphernalia that I'd have to move out. There was
so that's supposed to make us believe that there was somebody there. Pretty much, she had a live-in boyfriend who was there all the time, because he got to explain how he had all this paraphernalia. He had all this disc jockey equipment, just stuff. I had to move it out of the way, and that's how I know she had a boyfriend named Deuce.
Thing with the keyboard, things that play music and so forth. So
These young people stuff.
Now, when you moved in 2019, and then throughout the years in year 2020, 2021, had you ever met someone named Nathan Wade?
I did not meet Nathan Wade until 2023, about a year ago, when a reporter by the name of Issakoff interviewed me. I met him. That was the first time I had met him.
You said that was in 2023?
2023, right.
Uh-oh. Did he think if you look at his face, he like, is that the right year? What was it? Was I supposed to say 2023? Look at his face. He don't know if he said the right answer. Y'all see that? Look at his face.
And I know you said you hadn't met him until 2023, but when you were living at Ms. Willis's house in Fulton County, did you ever meet Mr. Wade in the year 2019?
Absolutely not.
How about in the year 2020?
Absolutely not.
Did you ever see Mr. Wade at Ms. Willis's Fulton County house in the year 2021?
Never.
Your testimony that the only time or the first time that you met Mr. Wade was in 2023.
Let me say something. Mr. Wade said that he remembers seeing me, and I do remember some banter. I'm a member of Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity, and there's
throwing that off up in there too, because they got some little connections and stuff with these fraternities and sororities and stuff, and so it's there. He's putting it out there to see if it got any brothers, any of his brothers out there.
kind of this thing that goes on between fraternities, and Mr. Wade is a member of Alpha Phi Alpha, and they, I do remember there was some kind of banter when my daughter was sworn in to be district attorney between me and a couple of guys, and he said he remembers me. I don't remember him.
And prior to that experience that you're talking about, as well as, I guess, your official meeting in 2023, had you ever even heard his name?
No, never.
I don't think I have any further questions, Your Honor.
Ms. Merchant.
Yes.
Fine. How are you, counsel?
Good, thank you. Just got a couple questions. On Monday, we heard you were in California. Do you have a place in California?
Look at him. Yes or no? Now he got to laugh because that's giving him time to think, because I'm sure they probably didn't cover all of this because they don't know what questions these people are going to ask.
People always ask me about where do I live. I guess I live right here, sitting in this seat right now. But yes, the answer is I have a place in Los Angeles.
Okay, you do. All right. So do you share time or split time between Los Angeles and Georgia?
Actually, I'm working on a documentary film, and I'm supposed to be being filmed not for this trial, but I'm supposed to be being filmed right now. It was planned, and we had to stop it because they asked me to come here. But the answer is I'm working on a documentary, and I'll be.
The answer is, see, he's giving himself away too.
In California until I finish the documentary if we don't have another actor strike and we don't have another writer strike.
So do you own property in California?
No, I don't. I live with a friend of mine.
You live with a friend of yours. Okay.
Yeah.
And when did you first move? Well, let me qualify with the dates. Did you spend any time in 2019 in California?
No, and the reason I didn't is that when I first came here, the answer is no, I did not. What happened was COVID. Once COVID hit,
COVID was in 2020. 2020, not 2019. I'm gonna pull this back a little bit. Watch how his energy changes when he realizes now he's got to give up a new story. He's coming off the hip with this one.
No, and the reason I didn't is that when I first came here, the answer is no, I did not. What happened was COVID. Once COVID hit, I was just paralyzed. I couldn't go any place. I couldn't go anything. I mean, I'm a theater buff. I used to go to theater at least once.
Now, if he came to Georgia September of 2019, they didn't start shutting down things here in the South until like March of 2020. End of February, early March 2020. So let's see, September, October, November, December, January, February, March. That's like 6 months after he's been here. So his talk, his story doesn't match up. They don't match up.
Once a week. But when COVID hit, I just couldn't. I couldn't go to the dentist, which I need to do. Or, it was just a thing. So I was just stuck. I was just stuck there.
I may be wrong, but I believe COVID hit in 2020. So I was asking about 2019. In 2019, did you spend any time in California?
Before COVID was even here in the United States, remember I lived in South Africa and I've traveled the world. I knew COVID was coming before. I knew COVID was around before. They may have announced it in 20, but in fact, I knew about it and I knew what was happening in 19.
Okay, so let's walk through 2019 then. You said you moved here in September. So
no, I didn't say that. I moved here probably prior to September. In September is when I got the driver's license. I probably moved in the springtime.
I'm sorry, you did. You said spring, summer. I see that in my notes. So spring, summer 2019.
Look at him. He pissed. Look at his face. He mad. He is mad.
Is when you moved here. So up until spring, summer 2019, where did you live?
I lived in Johannesburg. Well, I lived in Washington, D.C. in 2018. I had planned to retire for the rest of my life in South Africa. I had worked for Nelson Mandela and the Free Mandela and get that. And someone I'd gone to law school, he had located there after Mandela was freed from prison and became president. I was going to live there for the rest of my life, but unfortunately, because of political reasons, I could not stay in South Africa, and I was forced, in a sense, to come back to the United States.
Okay, so let's just focus in on the period from, let's just start with October 2019. Okay, we'll call that the relevant period. October 2019 until the end of 2019. Were you in Georgia every single day of that year?
Absolutely.
So now let's move to 2020, okay? And every single day, before I move on, every single day in 2019, you slept at your daughter's house, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So let's start in 2020, all right? So 2020, the entire year, did you travel anywhere?
No.
You didn't travel at all that year?
No.
So,
and I didn't go to the movies, which upset me also.
So that entire year.
That's where his daughter get it from. She sounds just like her daddy. Throw on the little extras with the line.
Year 2020, you remained here in Georgia.
Right.
In 2021, did you do any traveling?
No.
So when did you move back, or when did you start this documentary film in Los Angeles?
Yeah, I'm talking about
What I had been doing to occupy my time was I was writing my own memoir. As I delved into my family background, I discovered something, and that's what got me to working on the documentary. So I want you to understand what was going on in my life. I pitched I have a movie script called Bad Blood. I have a movie script we're trying to sell. So I tried to sell that, and I just happened to mention something that happened during the civil rights movement. SNCC, it's called the SNCC 5. The legendary Peter Fitzsimmons was interested, and so with Peter Fitzsimmons and Leah Smith, we're now doing the documentary. So
I don't want to interrupt you, but what I was asking was when you moved to Los Angeles, not what you moved there for.
well, you keep saying moved. I haven't moved to Los Angeles. I spent more time in California, in Oakland, if you really want to just be, because Peter is basically San Francisco based. So we're working on the documentary.
Okay.
I was in Los Angeles because I was going to the Pan-African Film Festival. And that's why we were there. And the way Hollywood works is, you know, when you make connections, and film festivals are a place to try to sell ideas and meet people and organize things.
You still own property in Washington, D.C., correct?
No, I don't.
You don't own property at 1467 Roxana Road Northwest?
That's where I used to live.
That's where you used to live. Did
Right.
you own that property?
Yes,
Okay. And you owned that property when you moved here in 2019?
yes.
And you owned it in 2020, correct?
Well, now you talk about a very complicated issue. I left the property. There was a dispute between me, and I had gotten a reverse mortgage company.
Uh-oh. So it seems that neither Fani or her daddy are good with their finances, right? Fani had that tax lien. Pops got in trouble with a little reverse mortgage here and lost his house.
And there was a dispute between me and and I just, I walked away from it.
You walked away from it with almost $300,000.
Yeah, what is the relevance of that?
Where he lived and registered to vote. That's what they brought in. So that's
Why is the money he got from the sale relevant at all?
it's the only proof I have of that he owned that address. So I can move on now. Okay. When did you sell that property?
I didn't. The reverse mortgage company took it.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So in 2019, when you got your driver's license,
He lost the house.
this is here.
Yes.
The next day you registered to vote, correct?
I think it may have been the same day, but maybe it was the next day. I don't remember.
But you didn't own property here in Georgia that day?
No, I was living with my daughter.
You said that you met Mr. Wade, that you remember you met in 2023, right? That was the first time you
Correct.
remember? Okay. And I wasn't really clear. You said something about meeting him. Was it with Mr. Isikoff, or did Mr. Isikoff tell you?
No, I was being interviewed by Mr. Isikoff.
Okay.
And he walked in, and I met him. That was the first time. He walked into the office, and
Where were you being interviewed?
at the district attorney's office.
And Mr. Wade walked into that interview?
Yes.
And so Ms. Willis had not told you about Mr. Wade prior to that.
Absolutely not.
So she didn't tell you anything about their relationship before you met him that day.
No.
But Mr. Wade remembers meeting you in 2020.
He said that at my daughter's swearing in. I do remember that we having some banner about fraternities, but other than that,
Oh, at your daughter's swearing in. Okay.
right.
That's all I have. Just one moment.
Yeah.
Nothing else. Thank you.
He looked relieved. Okay. Yeah, she had him on the ropes a little bit.
Morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you, counsel?
I'm fine. I'll try to ask you some specific questions if we could, okay?
And I'll give specific answers if I can.
Perfect.
Okay.
The driver's license address, I'm not going to publish. That is State's Exhibit.
He already is offended by how he treated his daughter on yesterday. let's pull this back so you can see how he answered. Watch his face and listen to the tone of his answer back to this attorney.
Having some banner about fraternities, but other than that,
Oh, wait, your daughter's swearing in. Okay.
right.
That's all I have. Just 1 moment.
Ooh, look at
Nothing else. Thank you.
this seat's hot. Watch his face. Look at his face. He's already squinting his eyes at
Good
dude.
morning. How are you, counsel?
I'm fine. I'll try to ask you some specific questions if we could, okay?
And I'll give specific answers if I can.
Yeah.
Okay.
The driver's license address, I'm not going to publish. That is State's Exhibit number 2. But is the address on that driver's license the home that you're referring to as your daughter's in South Fulton?
Absolutely.
It was unclear to me, maybe no one else, but it's unclear to me. When did you stop living at what I would call your daughter's home in South Fulton?
Things got so bad and threats got so many, even against me, that the house became basically uninhabitable. I got tired of sleeping in one room one day and no one that. I would say December of 2022, something like that.
December of 2022.
Right. That's about right. Yeah.
Wow.
Now, let me change and go back for another date. You had indicated, and I didn't hear it, when was your daughter, Miss Willis, when was she sworn in as district attorney?
On January 1, 2021.
Okay. And did you indicate that there was an incident, and I know you've described it, was that incident on February the 3rd, 2021?
That's my best recollection.
Okay. So my question then is, after February 3rd of 2021, how much longer did Miss Willis stay at the house before she moved somewhere else?
Very short period of time, and I cannot be precise, but I would bet all the money I ever made, it wasn't more than a month and a half, if that long.
Okay.
And we know that Miss Yurdy said that it was April of 2021. So
We're talking about, best of your recollection, end of February into the beginning of March, give or take, of 2021, when Miss Willis would have moved to a different location.
Exactly.
Okay. And did Miss Willis return?
So that's a lie, because the lady said that she took over her condo April of 2021, not February, not March. So where was she at for those 2 months? She's got 2 months of unaccounted time. Where was she at for those 2 months?
Turn to the house, that is the house that you were in, at any point in time that you can remember?
From time to time, she and her security might show up for her to pick something up or take something or something, but she always would come with her security.
Okay, my question was poorly worded, I apologize. Did she come back permanently to her house?
Oh, absolutely not.
Okay,
Absolutely not.
So as far as you're aware, that once Miss Willis left the house, her house, South Fulton House, so the record's clear, in either late February or into March of 2021, best of your recollection, she's not returned to that home to live.
No, it became uninhabitable. It just,
That's okay.
I would have to walk around that house looking out of every window. I made a habit of having to walk around the whole house. I got lights so that if somebody would come at night in the back, so that those kinds of reflecting lights, I had those put up.
I don't know. Again, finish off.
Okay.
All I was interested in is whether she had ever returned.
No, the answer is no.
Okay. Now, when Miss Willis, when your daughter left the home, time period, end of February, beginning of March, give or take 2021, do you know where she moved to?
No, and I didn't want to know. I intentionally
Lies, lies, lies. He said that too fast.
did not want to know.
Because you didn't want the kidnappers to come in there and hold you and torture it and get the information out of you.
Because I was not, if somebody stuck a gun to my head, and I could tell them, I wasn't going to tell them anyway. I'd have made up something, but I didn't want to know.
Okay, so would it be fair to say that if you didn't want to know, you never visited her at the place that she moved to?
Oh, I never did.
Never did.
Never did.
Okay. Do you know how long she stayed at the first place that she went to after she left her house before she moved to a second place?
What I know, and this is hearsay, counsel, is that my daughter has had to move something like 4 times.
Wow.
But do you know any potential?
No, I don't know any place. I was taken one time for Christmas Day. I've only seen my daughter, and this is very hard for me to say, but during the period my daughter left, I've only seen my daughter 13 times.
Wow.
Because I can't, and we've never seen each other more than maybe 3 hours because of, the nightmare threats against her and me.
And I understand that, and from the perspective of being a father myself, I understand what that means. So I'm going to move away from that. I was just trying to get an idea of date-wise, okay? So let me try to get one more date. In 2023, when you were being interviewed by one of the gentlemen that wrote the book at the DA's office, and Mr. Wade came in, can you give us, other than 2023, what the date would be?
I'm sorry, I can't counsel.
How about spring, summer, any idea?
I would guess spring or summer, but I can't.
Okay.
I don't. I'm sorry.
And you've already indicated, at least to your recollection, that was the first time that you'd met Mr. Wade.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, I'm not arguing with you about that. I want to go to Miss Willis's boyfriend that you referenced. Okay, you met Miss Willis's boyfriend, as you've characterized it, when you came here in 2019.
Correct.
And you met him on one occasion, several occasions?
Oh, no, I saw him often.
Oh, so you mean there was no secret that she was dating this man?
Not from me.
Not from you.
And he was a disc jockey of some kind. I think he had a government job during the day. I don't know what it was, but apparently he would do weddings and so forth and so on. He was a disc jockey, played music. So he had all his stuff was always in the way, and I was always having to try to push it aside. Anyway.
But Miss Willis, your daughter didn't keep him from you, correct?
No.
I mean, there was no doubt.
We lived my daughter and I lived in the same house. I mean, he came and went,
Right. Now, when did you learn that your daughter had a romantic, personal relationship with Mr. Wade?
Well, about 7 weeks ago, as a matter of fact, I just found out when other folks found out. Okay.
But as your daughter, as I understand it, never told you one time in the year of 2022 that she was dating Mr. Wade, correct?
That's correct.
And until recently, you didn't know from anyone, including your daughter, that she dated Mr. Wade, correct?
That's correct.
That is, whatever the relationship is between father and daughter, she kept that a secret from you, correct?
Correct.
That's all I need to know.
Mm.
Mr. Stockton.
No. You look worried. So here's the other little lapse of time that's here. According to her dad, he moved in with her September 2019 and supposedly moved 12/22. So how is he meeting Mr. Wade for the first time in 2023? Like, where's his living? Where's he at during this time? Because according to his testimony, he just stated that he moved out 12/22. So.
Good morning, Mr.
Good morning.
Correct.
Good morning, Counsel.
When your daughter moved or left the house that she owned, did she say anything to you about having a large savings of cash?
Oh, no, no. See, maybe, excuse me, and Your Honor, I'm not trying to be racist, okay?
Okay. Oh, here
But
we go.
it's a black thing.
See, this how black people try to set it up like that. I ain't trying to be racist or not, but it's a black thing, right? That all black. Let me stop it. Let me pull it back just a little bit because now you can see. Now he's ready to. This is the story that this is his shining moment here. This is his starring lines here that he's ready. You know, this is what he was prepped for to say. So now he's finally getting an opportunity to give this here speech. This is what Fani was, you know, preparing us to hear from him. Y'all gonna hear from my daddy. He gonna let y'all know about how this thing go down. So let's move it back because now it's gonna be an action. Here we go.
Well, about 7 weeks ago, when it, as a matter of fact, I just found out when other folks found out. Okay.
But as your daughter, as I understand it, never told you one time in the year of 2022 that she was dating Mr. Wade, correct?
That's correct.
And until recently, you didn't know from anyone, including your daughter, that she dated Mr. Wade, correct?
That's correct.
That is, whatever the relationship is between father and daughter, she kept that a secret from you, correct?
Correct.
That's all I need to know.
Mr. Stockton.
No.
Oops.
Good morning, Mr.
Good morning.
Floyd.
Correct. Good morning, Counsel.
When your daughter moved or left the house that she owned, did she say anything to you about having a large savings of cash?
Oh, no, no. See, maybe, excuse me, and Your Honor, I'm not trying to be racist, okay? But it's a black thing, okay? You know, I was trained, and most black folks, they hide cash or they keep cash. And
All right, now listen to this, and now we go back into what he said prior. He just admitted to losing his house, his home, through a reverse mortgage. So that's like a repossession. You know, he lost his house. So if you're so organized and so into saving that you keep large, you know, sums of money, 6 months worth of stuff, how did you end up losing your home? And then you pass the same energy down to your daughter who had a tax lien. All right, so keep that in mind that this is what he stated before. Now he's about to tell you this lie. Pull it back some.
Relationship is between father and daughter.
Good morning, Mr.
good morning.
Floyd.
Correct. Good morning, Counsel.
When your daughter moved or left the house that she owned, did she say anything to you about having a large savings of cash?
Oh, no, no. See, maybe, excuse me, and Your Honor, I'm not trying to be racist, okay? But it's a black thing, okay? You know, I was trained, and most black folks, they hide cash or they keep cash. And I trained. You always keep some cash because I've been places, and just because of the color of my skin, for example, I took.
See this? He's trying to purposely make it seem like it's a racial something here. Because of the color of my skin, I got to keep, you know, piles of money around. It's a black thing. This is baloney. This is BS.
Took a fellowship at Harvard when my daughter was just if I might, Your Honor, when I was just she was just, you know, maybe 3 years old. And I remember going to a restaurant in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and I had a American Express credit card and maybe a Visa or whatever. And I had a lot of what they call traveler's checks. I don't even know if they still have traveler's checks, but traveler's checks. And there was a sign said, you know, with the credit card. for whatever reasons, the man would not take my American
I was
Express
black.
credit card. So I pulled out my Visa card, and he wouldn't take my Visa card.
Because I was
So then I
black.
pulled out my traveler's checks. He said, "We don't take checks." Now these were traveler's checks. This was money. I had a $10 bill. I'll never forget this as long as I live. And he said, the bill for my wife at the time, Fani's mother, Fani, and myself was like $9.95, and I had a $10 bill. That was all that. I always remember that.
I'll never be
Even before that, I've always kept cash. And I've told my daughter, you keep 6 months worth of cash always.
That sounds like a dry bologna sandwich. Yeah, right. Right. Okay, so you lose your house in a reverse mortgage. She has a tax lien, and you have promoted to keep 6 months of cash just stashed. Yeah, right.
For example, I had 3 safes in my house. I put some of my clients' stuff there too, things I didn't want.
Again, when liars lie, they always put all these extra details in there, so you get lost in the story and forget what the original question was. He just asked about, if you knew anything about this money. Now he's got to go all back to 19, and then we went to, and it was in this city, and then I tried to use my credit card, but because I was black, I was not allowed. So I've always taught my daughter, these white people will not take credit from you. You must have cash.
Want other lawyers to be, because you're always in a firm, and I knew that there were special conditions. So some of my clients' things I would bring home, put them in the safe. But I've always kept safes. And as a matter of fact, I gave my daughter her first cash box and told her always keep some cash.
So is that a yes?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
That's all I got, Judge.
Mr. Durham.
No questions.
Mr. McDougald. Thank you. Mr. Rice.
No question, Your Honor.
Mr. Gillen.
You're like, uh-oh.
It's still morning. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Counsel. How are you?
Just fine. Just a few questions following up. When you were talking about when you learned about Mr. Wade and your daughter, correct?
Correct.
Now, did your daughter tell you in around October of 2022 that she had gone on a Caribbean cruise with Mr. Wade to the Bahamas?
The answer is I knew that my daughter had gone.
Wow. The answer is. Who talks like that? The answer is. He making it obvious that he was coached here.
But I did not know who she went with or what the circumstances were. So I knew that she had gone out of town, but I didn't know with whom.
I see. And did she tell you in November of 2022 that she had gone to Aruba and stayed at a Hyatt Regency resort there in Aruba for 3 days with Mr. Wade? Did she tell you that?
The answer was, again, I knew she went out of town. I didn't even know where she went. I knew she was going out of town. She told me she was going out of town. I think she might have said she was going out of the country or something. She'd be gone. But other than that, that was all.
Okay. And did she tell you in March of 2023 that she was going to Belize for several days with Mr. Wade?
The same answer, that I knew she would tell me she was going out of town, and she may or may not have told me where she was going, but she'd be gone for a couple of days.
Okay. Now in 2023, you were in many days you would be out in California, correct?
Some days I'd be in California, correct.
Okay. Well, did she tell you in May of 2023 that she was traveling to Napa Valley with Mr. Wade, so maybe y'all could see each other when she visited California with Mr. Wade?
The answer is no.
And so the first time that you ever met Mr. Wade or learned about Mr. Wade, to your recollection, was in 2023?
That's correct.
That's all I have, Your Honor. Thank you.
Mr. Kachuroff. On Zoom.
Just a couple quick questions. Good morning, sir. I know I can't see you.
I can't see you either,
We
but
can take a moment.
good morning, counsel.
We can take a moment. Let's just pause, see if we can change the screens to show Mr. Kucherov. Sorry. We need,
Your Honor, I'm on a phone, so it's kind of difficult.
can you turn your screen on?
I'm trying to.
Hey, Balance. You're like, I can't believe Bonnie got me into this baloney. But that's his only daughter.
Just to hold one more moment. All right, there we go. You can proceed, Mr. Kucherov.
Sir, you seem to know about the issue of cash in this transaction. You said it was a black thing. How did you know that the cash was going to be an issue in this testimony?
Because I was asked for it and I was prepped by the lawyers and they asked me about it. What else?
And did you speak with Mr. Wade about your testimony?
No.
Did you speak?
Now, see, when people are lying, they always do this whole where they get annoyed and stuff, right? Instead of just answering the questions, why are you upset and annoyed? Look at this face. This is a typical move, facial expression that liars make, right? So you can feel stupid. It's a mental tactic to shake you so you'll, maybe withdraw from some of this form of questioning that you are presenting.
Speak with your daughter about your testimony.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Ooh, let's go back there a little bit there. Look at his face. First, look at it. He got a smirk right there. All right, let's see. Let's pull back. There's a wee bit. This is where Fani get it from.
Does that work?
Just to hold one more moment. All right, there we go. You can proceed, Mr. Kucherov.
Sir, you seem to know about the issue of cash in this transaction. You said it was a black thing. How did you know that the cash was going to be an issue in this testimony?
Because I was asked for it and I was prepped by the lawyers and they asked me about it. What else?
And did you speak with Mr. Wade about your testimony?
No.
Did you speak with your daughter about your testimony?
She may have been present when the lawyers were. I really don't remember.
If Mr. Wade and your daughter were dating, you wouldn't have known that unless your daughter told you.
What do you? Maybe I'm not understanding your question, counsel. So maybe you want to restate. What is it that you're asking me?
Yeah, if it wasn't clear, I can re-ask the question. I'll rephrase it.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Mr. Wade. If Mr. Wade and your daughter were dating, you wouldn't have known that unless your daughter told you.
I did not know that they were dating. And when were you talking?
Yes or no? Look, why he's so defensive? Pops is pissed. When liars get confronted with these questions and stuff, they get agitated to, so you can back down. Look at him, mad. Because you lying.
Talking about the cash. I didn't know that. I don't know what you're asking me. What I told my child from the time she was a child is always have some money. Always have some money. If you go on a date so that people don't try to stick you and you want to leave whoever, always keep some cash, okay?
You can't tell me I didn't tell my daughter to always keep some cash. I told my child since she was a little baby, keep some cash.
Mr. Floyd, you answered the question that the attorneys prepped you for that. So that's all I wanted to know.
Yeah.
Anything else, Mr. Kucherov?
That's it, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Cromwell.
No questions, Your Honor.
Mr. Abadi?
Excuse Your Honor. Mr. Floyd, now it wasn't common for your daughter to confide in you about her romantic life at all.
No, and I haven't confided in her about mine before when I had one, okay?
And you wouldn't have known about her boyfriend, the disc
Hey,
jockey.
Debs.
Is that an objection?
I think that might have just been still off mute.
Okay.
Let's keep going.
Now, you wouldn't have known about her boyfriend, the disc jockey, had you not been living with her, correct?
That's correct.
I'll allow overruled.
I have nothing further.
Did he answer the question?
He said that's correct.
All right. By show of hands, any redirect on those points only. Ms. Merchant.
I just want to know when you were prepped by the lawyers, when this prep session was.
I just got off the plane on, what was it, Tuesday night? I think I was probably drooling at the mouth. I was so tired. So it must have been, I got in Wednesday. It must have been Wednesday.
Okay. And did you talk about any of the testimony from yesterday or watching news reports or anything like that?
Oh, absolutely. You can't cut the TV on without seeing this. The first thing, and I listen to conservative radio a lot, and, you know, last night for 5 hours, all they talked about was this case.
So you were aware of what the testimony your daughter gave yesterday was?
Yeah, unless you don't cut the radio on, unless you don't cut the television on,
Yes or
unless
no,
you don't read the AJC or any other, the New York Times or whatever, which I do every day, yeah, of course.
So is it fair to say nobody instructed you that you were under the rule of sequestration?
Right, and I'm not under subpoena either.
Thank you.
All right. Anything else?
I'm here to help my baby.
Seeing and hearing none. Thank you, Mr. Floyd.
Thank you very much, John. It's a pleasure to appear in front of you. Thank you.
All right. Ms. Cross, let me check in. Was the state planning to call additional witnesses?
Oh, he put her daddy through this baloney. Woo! Okay, so I just thought, you know, how do y'all feel about that? Like, it was pretty interesting to see that, you know, the apple don't fall far from the tree. So yes, yep, he had his stories all together and ready. Like, you know, you could tell like they watched it. They probably was like, yeah, and this is what you're gonna say about this. You let them know that it's a black thing. That way, you know, people will kind of steer away from it. Black people are good about throwing in that whole thing to make, you know, society a little bit uncomfortable about further questioning them when they say it's a black thing. Like that's your answer to the whole thing. It's a black thing. You ain't hip to it because it's a black thing, baby. It's black. All right, so let me see. We're gonna get another story here, or is this a video? Which one is this? All right, I think this is this is the one story that I wanted to show, kind of read off a little bit too. Just read a couple of lines on this here. Not gonna hold y'all too long tonight because I gotta go to work in the morning. But I wanted to show a quick short. Okay, here we go. All right. This is a quick one here, and I'll just say a couple of things, then I will bid y'all good night. And then, of course, when the when the final ruling gets in here, we would have analyzed all of these different statements and testimonies of different people and stuff like that to be able to connect the dots, because a lot of times when liars lie, it be new stuff and they're not aware, keep track of the old stuff that they told. And then when they tell a lie to contradict the truth that's there, not realizing that the new lie contradicts the old lie, right? That's why it's a good thing we got these videos and stuff, and we can keep up with statements that was made. So this here video came out February the 2nd of 2024.
County District Attorney Fani Willis admitted to a personal relationship with an outside prosecutor she appointed to manage the election interference case against former President Donald Trump. In a 176-page court filing, Willis said she and Nathan Wade developed a relationship in 2022, but that there was no relationship prior to his appointment as special prosecutor. Willis denies any claim.
Now, if she developed a relationship in 2020, oh, okay, I see they wrote it out. They probably listened to it and documented 2022 with the number 2. All right. Let me just go back. All right, so they got the words up here.
Was no relationship prior to his appointment as special prosecutor. Willis denies any claims of misconduct and says there was no evidence that the relationship between her and Wade had prejudiced the case. We'll have more on this story, including one legal expert's take on the impact on the election interference case that's coming.
All right. Here. So she had admitted to the relationship, and of course, these dates are the things that are in question, is what they are being able to come back on her with, and also the text messages and the videos. I mean, not the videos, but the text messages and the phone things that they subpoenaed to be able to show their whereabouts, where they was at certain times, stuff like that, to show proof that the relationship actually started prior to what they said. All right, so here's one more quickie little something here, and then I'm gonna let y'all go.
All right, in Georgia, Fulton County DA Fani Willis facing disqualification from former President Trump's election interference case. As new court filings claim, she tried to keep her relationship with the special prosecutor Nathan Wade a secret. Todd Pyro joins us. Todd.
And the intrigue grows deeper by the day. A new witness could testify, Brian, after a new court filing claims Fulton County DA Fani Willis warned special prosecutor Nathan Wade's lawyer not to say anything about their romantic relationship. She allegedly called Terrence Bradley saying, quote, "They're coming after us. You don't need to talk to them about anything about us." Now, the new court filings reveal a Cobb County, Georgia prosecutor named Cindy Lee Yeager overheard the conversation between Willis and Bradley. And while Wade and Willis have both testified that their affair happened between 2022 and 2023, this new filing claims Bradley told Yeager the romance began all the way back in 2019 during Willis's campaign to become DA. Yeager watched Bradley's testimony last week when he claimed to have no knowledge of when Willis and Wade started dating. And according to this filing, she, quote, became concerned as a result of
he got the lie brows
the fact that what Mr. Bradley testified to on the witness stand was directly contrary to what Mr. Bradley had told Ms. Yeager in person. Now, Willis could be disqualified from former President Trump's election interference case in Georgia if the judge finds a conflict of interest. That ruling is expected to come within the next 2 weeks. Lawrence, over to you.
And then also, what about the perjury, right? Lying in the court. That's I'm sure that should be some type of a crime or something. Anyway, I'm just curious to see if they're going to do the right thing on this, or are they going to just, play us like they have with other things going on and stuff. All right, so thank y'all so much for coming in. And then I wanted to say too, JP asked me about, Arian, have you heard about that mayor in Dothan, Illinois? Yes, I have. And she is somebody else that I want to talk about too. And it goes along the lines of this theme of these Black women in power and doing these horrendous things, and that Black people are accepting it because they're Black. They're just letting these people get away with doing this stuff because they're Black. Just because you're Black does not give you the right to do wrong things to people, to steal from the community, to do people in a negative way like this. It's not right. You shouldn't be able to get away with doing it because you're Black and then throw out the racism card to, get off the hook, right? We saw that in that Carly Russell case, right? As soon as she was discovered to be a hoax, everybody stopped talking about her. They tried to make it seem like it was a racial thing. But before she was discovered as being a liar, it was all we could talk about. And so I'm kind of in a space where I'm just like kind of fed up with Black people getting away with acting poorly and using the reason because you're Black to get away with it. It's disgusting, and it's not right. It's not right. It's not right. Anyway, that's my little high horse for today. And I'll see y'all in another video very soon. All right. Peace and love.